Chet Holmgren, and I'm down to dunk.
This is AJ Mitchell, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Alex Crusoe, and I'm down to dunk.
It's like baby bottle pop. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is Adam Flagler, and I'm down to dunk.
Hey, it's Isaiah Hartenstein, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Cason Wallace, and I'm down to dunk.
I can't spell Lucas. Hey, how do you spell Lucas? How do you spell Lucas?
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Nikola Topic, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Dylan Jones, and I'm down to dunk. This is Isaiah Joe, and I'm down to dunk.
And there's probably like 50 to 75 Beanie Babies.
Give me like your top 3 Pokemon.
Brother, I can't even name.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
Sometimes the way his brain works is, it leaves a lot to be desired.
This is Kenrich Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
Charmander.
Yeah.
Charmander. Or you're more of a Charmeleon guy.
Charmeleon.
This is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
Schlecht. You know what it
Schlecht?
means? Yeah.
That means like bad.
It means bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, it was a good interview, so it wasn't bad.
J-Dub, year 3, and I'm down to dunk for the 3rd time. Thank you.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. Before I get to my good friend Alex Speers, I want to tell you about 2 other friends of mine, Aaron and Drew Reese of Shelter Insurance. You can contact Aaron 405-773-5500 or Drew 405-478-7714 today. If you're looking for, listen, you may be tired of your car insurance or your home insurance and you need to change. And maybe you just need to know the person who you're getting insurance from. And these are 2 guys that you're going to want to know. So give them a call or text today. Support the people that support Down to Dunk. They're both still got to be riding high on this OU victory too. So if you would just want to just send them a little boomer sooner, I'm sure that they'd be excited about that. Support the people that support Down to Dunk and give Aaron or Drew a call or text today. With me is my good friend Alex Speers. Alex, what's up?
What's up, Andre?
Only NBA news. Josh Giddey got a contract, 4 years, $100 million. It felt like that was where it was going to land the whole time. That just seems like the most, like we're meeting in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah, and he has the benefit of them giving Patrick Williams $18 a year. So like anything they were going to give Giddey was going to look like pretty good in comparison. It was just like the closer that number is to Patrick Williams' number, the better this deal is going to look. Because
no kidding,
you look at that deal and you're like, oh, why would you ever want to do that? It's like 25. Hey, at least Giddey like does some stuff. At least I notice Giddey when he's on a basketball court.
Shout out to Patrick Williams, who just made his career off of things that he might do.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not the only one. I think there are a lot of Thunder fans who at various points of time were like, hey, maybe he could. In fact, I think there were reports, from someone at some point that was like, oh, Thunder might be interested in Patrick Williams. And you could talk yourself into it because he's like the classic you can talk yourself into it guy.
Mm-hmm. Then you find out you paid Oos $18 million.
Yeah, honestly.
What's the difference? What's the difference?
I mean, he can shoot, but he doesn't. I think he shoots like high 30s or low 40s, but he barely takes any threes.
Yeah.
I feel like every Patrick Williams game is like 10 and 6. Just forever with 1 3.
I think Oos could do that given the chance.
Yeah?
Oos was on the Bulls. He could do that.
We should talk him into it. Call them up.
Hey, listen. We know how much you like Patrick Williams. What if you do that again?
Maybe they talked at the Hall of Fame ceremony. Saw Billy D there.
Yeah.
Shouting out Mark.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool.
Mm-hmm. That was cool. Wonder how Billy feels about Mark being just a way better NBA coach than him.
Oh, I'm sure those guys have to. I mean, he won 2 championships before. He must be thinking like, man, if I had that roster.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But
the truth is, he's a way better NBA coach than
I
Billy.
think so too.
I don't think it's that close. Okay. Our friends at r-thunder on Reddit gave us so many questions that we won't be able to answer all of them, but we will try. So here we go. Safety committee says, my name is U-Safety Committee, and I'm down to dunk. You guys have crossed the barrier into national media. I think it's so cool that you get to pod with Sam Vecini. Alex, what is it that you've done over the past few years to increase your basketball knowledge at what seems to me an exponential rate? And a question for both of you: who would be your top 5 podcast guests if you haven't had on before?
That's very nice of you to say.
Tell us about your knowledge, Al.
I mean, I definitely feel like I know more than when we started Slam and Jam, but I still feel like woefully inadequate when it comes to like X's and O's and those type of things. That's like one of the things I want to focus on for this season. Not that I want to like really incorporate it a bunch, but I just want to understand better than I already do. And so there are a few really good resources for that. If anyone has never seen a Half Court Hoops, he's like a coach who has a Substack, and I've started reading a lot of his stuff. But in general, I think if you're trying to learn more about the league, I really do think what we do on Slam and Jam with the Wheel of Fandom has like it's forced me to consume more local team content.
Yeah.
So like local podcasts, even like subreddits, local blogs, and I just feel like you learn so much more about specific teams and then eventually the league by the end of the year than you would if you just listen to national podcasts. Because like national podcasts are great, but we know like the people who watch these teams 82 times per season, they just have like a different feel for the team. They can convey stuff about how like the fan base feels about a player or like how a player's career arc has been going better than national people can do. And so yeah, I think consuming more local like team specific content, if you're trying to just learn more about the league, is a better way to do it than just listening to national podcasts. Like you could just follow along with us this season on Slam and Jam, just like checking in on one team a week, like listening to one podcast for a team. Like you'll just feel you feel like you know so much more about these teams.
Yes. And like the national, like depending on who you're listening to, I will say you can learn a lot from some of the national people. As far as like the way the league is working and functioning, like Windhorse podcast, I think is a really good one. And I think that those guys are super plugged in. Now, do they know what's going on every single team, 1 through 15? No, because you can't. You can't know. And that's where I agree. Like if you really want to know more and more about the league, like, you need to read local beat writers and you need to listen to local podcasts. And there's some really, really good ones out there too, like really good local shows. So, guests that you'd like to have on that we have not had on before?
So the list this is Slam and Jam specific.
Okay.
I would say Bill Simmons. That'd be very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Lowe. Who I know has been on Down to Dunk, but I feel like that's the most realistic. I feel like that could happen.
Yeah.
Tim Legler.
He's not a part of ESPN.
Yeah.
Which, like if you don't know, ESPN will not let their guys go on other shows for the most part. Like they make like rare exceptions. So where it was actually surprising that Zach came on Down to Dunk when he still worked for ESPN.
Yeah.
Because they just usually don't let that happen.
Tim Legler, not going to happen. Yeah. Blake Griffin.
Ooh. Now that Blake's like in the media now.
I know.
God, that would rock.
It's like kind of more possible. He's just very good on a mic.
Yeah.
And then I put Ben Taylor from Thinking Basketball.
We could definitely do that.
Yeah, we probably could. I was
get Ben Taylor. He's been. I mean, he's friend of the show proper for NBA Daily. But
yeah.
Okay.
I as you see, I like mostly avoided players other than Blake Griffin, who's now in the media. I mean, the idea of players I think is cool, but like the idea is much cooler than the reality.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some players who do really good interviews, but I think most of them are just, it's really tough to get like a really interesting conversation out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, player interviews is not necessarily built for podcasting, but it's built for sound bites.
Yeah.
It's built for shorts, is what like player content is built for. If you really want to lift your social media presence, I think having a player being a part of what you're doing is a really good way to do that. Now, if you really want to decrease your podcast numbers, having a player on is really going to help with that too. I just think that, I mean, think about it. And maybe I'm unique in this way, but like when Zach Lowe would have players on the Low Post when he was at ESPN, did I listen to all of them?
No. Oh, I was the same way. Same with coaches. Like if you had coaches on, I don't know. It's just wasn't what I was looking for from the Zach Lowe show. Because I just feel like those people, especially on that podcast, which you know is going to be listened to by a lot of people, they're not usually going to say anything if they're an active player. It like reminds me of when Presty was on the Woj pod.
Yeah.
Remember that one? Yeah. It's just
unbelievably. I mean, just
it's cool
because he did, you know.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, they have to be so careful. Like current players, executives, coaches, they have to be so careful with what they say because anything one way or the other could get them in trouble with the franchise, with the owner, with whatever. And so that's why it's just not interesting, you know. But like just some dudes talking, like they can say whatever, you know. Like that's why people would rather listen to just like Zach Lowe, he's not plugged into a team. He's never worked for a team, but people just like to hear his opinions on these teams.
Yeah.
You know, it's just more interesting. Zach Bobernick in the chat, Mark Dagnall. This is a very obvious one. And we talk some basketball, but I would just really want to dig into like who he is, and everybody would love Mark even more than you already do if you get a chance to just hear from him. So
yeah, Mark is like asking him about his journey and stuff because I mean we like know about it vaguely, but I don't feel like he's ever done like an in-depth interview about it all.
You got to hear him say it. You just got to hear him say it. Okay. Hey, I'm Brian. I'm also down to dunk. This is from Crazy Prize Zero. No, Crazy Pyro. Oh, Crazy.
Oh,
Pyro. No. On a related note, if you could interview anyone while they're hooked up to a lie detector test, who would it be, and what questions would you ask? Like, how does Kevin Durant honestly feel about his decision to go to the Warriors in hindsight? Or Scott Brooks or Billy Donovan's thoughts on coaching Westbrook over the years? Oh my gosh, that's a good one. I think having Kevin Durant on a lie detector test would be amazing. That'd be amazing content. You would get millions upon millions of views on something like that.
See, I almost feel like people would end up being disappointed because whatever his answers were, he's probably said them at one time or another.
But what if he hadn't?
Maybe. I was thinking with this, like, you have to use this opportunity to answer any things that have always been unknown, either about your favorite team or the league. Mm-hmm. So like you got to put Presty, like you could think about all the potential trades that like got to the 1 foot yard line.
You could.
I guess it wouldn't be the 1 foot yard line. It'd be the 1 yard line. 6:30 a.m. You could find out like every trade that got to the 1 yard line that like didn't happen.
Yeah.
Or like players they were targeting, offers they made.
Or like stuff like draft night stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Who did they want to take? Who was taken like 1 or 2 picks before your pick that you just like absolutely loved?
Yeah. Who's like your biggest draft regret?
Yeah.
You know?
Can you imagine the amount of, I mean, that could do a whole summer of pods, depending on how long you got them hooked up to this lie detector test.
Yeah, we could literally release question by question
yeah.
summer per episode.
And then break down the question, because all those would be huge to know.
And also, you know that Presley would talk a lot right after you ask the question.
That's true.
You would get so much content. You just break down each. That's got to be the answer.
And then for the league, like, I mean, if you got Adam Silver, like you could ask Adam Silver about basically any weird thing that's happened with the league where it's been unclear. I mean, you could get a definitive answer on the lottery being rigged, and then you could once and for all settle that debate.
Yeah. The biggest one right now that would probably get you the most views if you did it live on YouTube is Steve Ballmer.
Yeah.
Hooked up to a lie detector test.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. I mean, honestly, I would just want to know, hey, what happened at the Board of Governors meeting this week? Yeah. Give me a play-by-play.
They're gonna. I mean, not that we'll get like completely honest answers, but there's a press conference right after the Board of Governors meeting.
Well, I thought, that's today.
Yeah, it's today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll hear something.
But yeah, Presti would be the ultimate. That would be, especially for a team that, or for a GM that makes so many moves.
So many moves.
Just knowing that the moves not even the ones that they've made, but just the moves that we know about is still a tiny percentage of the overall moves that potentially happened. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it would be much easier now that we've won a ring, because I'm sure there's some that are like, oh my gosh, if we had gotten that guy.
Totally. Bug_eyed. What do you think of Cason Wallace's music? Now, if you haven't seen this, there's a YouTube video of Cason Wallace playing the saxophone, and there's so many funny things about it. It's a very long interview.
Very long interview.
It is a shockingly long interview where Cason is he's holding a saxophone the whole time, and you don't hear him play it for a little bit. And then he starts playing it. He plays two notes back to back that are just that very much tell you this guy does not really know how to play the saxophone.
I mean, he even says like he literally one of the first things he says is I stopped playing in middle school, which is also when he started. And then he says, but I'm picking it back up.
It's so funny. How does that happen where it's like I am casually picking up an instrument and now I'm getting a television interview for it? I don't know how it happened, but it is so good. It is so funny.
I mean, I was just thinking about it like if that happened to me, that would be the equivalent of me going on like a local TV show, daytime TV show, and just saying, hey, I'm picking back up the violin, but like, because I played the violin in middle school.
Yeah.
But literally just picking it up and walking into this interview, seeing if I can play a few notes. But what made that interview so much better, though, is how charming he is. Like how happy he is to be talking about it.
So good.
It's like kind of a side of him I haven't really seen.
Yeah.
Like he's like very excited to talk about this.
So much so that I am contemplating renting a saxophone and bringing it to media day.
It's a very sweet and charming interview.
It is so good. It is so good. You should go watch it. That's all I have to say. Trill 405. How'd you guys first meet Michele Berra? I think it's cool that we have so many international fans, and even cooler that one of them enjoys the Thunder so much that he pods about them from overseas. So Michele and I met through Twitter. We were messaging each other like in 2014, I think. And we had been doing the pod for just like a couple years. And he was doing a lot of stats-based research at the time. A lot of it about draft prospects and college players. And some of it NBA too. And he became a Thunder fan just because of Russ and KD. And so he started listening to our show, and he and I just like we would DM back and forth. And then he was obsessed with Domantas Sabonis at the draft. And so we started messaging about that. And then I was like, why don't we just hop on what at the time was Skype? We hopped on Skype and we just, chatted about different prospects, and he like shared his screen because he had like a lot of like stats and videos and stuff. And I would do that over my lunch hour. And then just one time I was just like, hey, why don't we record this and just see how it goes? And at the time he wasn't super confident in his English. but like obviously he's very, very good now. But he was like, I don't know if I want to. Like, I was like, let's just do it. And so, and that's been, I mean, gosh, it's been a long time now that we've been potting with Michele. So probably like 9 years, something like that.
Yeah, those are like back in the Vantage Sports Day.
Yeah, Vantage Sports. Shout out to Vantage Sports.
Which people don't know, like that was the first. Those are the first pods me and Andrew ever did together, and I'm sure they are so bad. It was a like stats database that I'm sure was subscription, and it had a bunch of cool stats in it. But the podcast was just us talking about the database and trying to come up with things to talk about based on what we found in the database, which I'm sure sometimes worked and sometimes was probably us saying like the most boring stats ever.
Shout out to the Home Court Advantage podcast.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist, does it? I probably should have checked before I
There's
said
no
it.
way that still has. There's no way that, I mean, I think they had to pay for like the. Hold on.
Oh no, it is on here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Really?
There's 3 episodes.
Wow. Oh wow, there it is. Unbelievable.
Oh no! So if you want to go back and look, this was pre me joining Down to Dunk. This was March of 2016.
Shout out.
Oh my gosh! I might have to go
hey,
back and see what that sounded
9
like.
years ago, 5 stars. I wish this would return.
Oh hey, lucky for you.
Another 5-star review from 9 years ago. Very analytical, dry, and sometimes. Wait, hold on. Dry, funny sometimes, but very informative. Okay. You will learn 5+ things every podcast, and you will absolutely not get anywhere else.
Hey, leave us a 5-star review for the Home Court Advantage.
Leave us 5-star review for Home Court Vantage podcast, a podcast that we haven't done in 9 years. Okay.
It has to be so boring.
It's got to be so boring.
My memory of it was boring to do. So if it was boring to do, it must be really boring to listen to.
Go check it out today. Actually, please don't. Okay. What was that? Oh, Michele Vera. Yes, shout out to Michele. He's awesome. Not today, 26. What is one player moment from last season's playoffs that you feel is underrated in regard to contributing to the championship run?
I thought about this. I think, obviously, you don't want to choose something that's like so small that we didn't even talk about it. But I think a moment that was in our moment tournament, but I didn't, even when I was getting the clips, I didn't fully understand what I should be including, was the Wiggins Wallace takeover in Game 4.
This was mine as well.
Yeah, because
I'm trying to think of another one.
There's a few things like in a game where OKC only hit 10 threes, they had 6 of them, and they hit all 6 of those threes from 4:36 left in the third quarter until 8:35 in the fourth quarter. So just in that little span of time, those 8 minutes, they hit all 6 of their threes. Yeah. And it wasn't like they broke the game wide open. Like it went from Wiggins hits his first 3, it's 55-58. They're down 3. They're down by 1 when they hit their final 3. And then Shea re-enters the game at 8:57 in the fourth quarter. That was just about surviving. Like they allowed OKC to survive a few minutes, at the 3 minutes at the beginning of that fourth quarter without Shea. And they just kept the game close enough. And they needed all 6 of those threes to do that, which is crazy. Again, they hit 10 the entire game as a team. The starters were 2 of 23 from 3 in that game. Dort was 2 of 10. That was a bad Dort game.
It's a bad Dort game.
Yeah, that was Game 4. So then leading into Game 5 when he hits all the threes. So, yeah, that was just one where I think when I cut the clips, I only cut the clips from the end of the third quarter. And I had kind of forgotten that it bled over into the fourth quarter, too. They hit another 3 threes right there. So, yeah, that for me is really big, especially when you look at how much those guys contributed offensively the rest of the playoff series. Like, that really was their moment.
Yeah.
I mean, Wiggins had like a great for that Memphis game 1. But that was by far like both of their biggest moments offensively throughout the playoffs, and it just happened to occur at the exact same time at a really crucial point.
Yeah, Kaysen had 2 threes in the fourth quarter too, where it was just like,
yeah,
golly, they just needed every one of those buckets. Yeah, I was going to mention just that Wiggins third quarter, he had 8 points, three boards, but it just felt like they were dead.
Yeah,
it just felt like they were just going to get killed by Denver, and that
because
really,
Denver was hot at that point too. They were hitting every three they took.
Yeah, and if you remember the way this game started, the Thunder led after 17-8, and it was just an atrocious game.
Yeah, 17-8, and it felt like it should have been like 35-8.
Yeah, it felt like an outrageously bad missed opportunity to not be up by 16.
Yeah.
That game was brutal. Okay, let's see. Spready Cheeks wants to know, looking at Josh's new contract with the Bulls, do you think in 3 years' time we'll see it as a good or bad contract value-wise? I think $25 million a year in 3 years is going to look really good for a player that's the caliber of Josh Giddey. If Josh doesn't improve at all in any way, and he's you still question if he can even be a playoff player, then maybe we'll look at it and say it's not a contract I want to have. But I think Josh is super duper competitive, and I think he's going to continue to get better. So I think it's going to look good by the time that we're in his third year.
Yeah, just usually, especially with these rookie extensions, if you just get it at a normal number, I mean, he's making less than Emmanuel Quickly, as a point of comparison. Mm-hmm. He's making less than RJ Barrett, another Toronto Raptor. He's making less than Devin Vassell. Although Devin Vassell is a really weird contract where it goes $27 million, $27 million, $24.6 million, $27 million. I wonder what the reason for that was. I think that, $25 million, especially with the cap rising, I feel like there's very little downside. He's clearly a productive player.
Yeah.
You just have questions about, is this going to work in the playoffs? Who knows if the Bulls are going to be in the playoffs in the next 4 years? We'll have to see. Although I did see a stat that they have more continuity than any other team in the NBA going into this season in terms of the percentage of minutes they're bringing back. I don't know if it should excite anyone, but it's a stat.
It should not.
It's true.
That is weird.
I know it is.
But that's so Bulls, though. They just refuse to do anything most of the time.
Yeah.
That's not great. Okay, next question. Janky Branch wants to know which Looney Tune character from Space Jam would each Thunder team member be?
So I actually did some research on this. I rewatched the basketball scene from Space Jam 1 just to remember who was on the team.
Yeah.
I also looked at the box score for that game, which somebody did put together.
Wow.
So my thoughts, obviously, and I'm only doing the Looney Tunes characters, so I'm not doing Michael Jordan, not doing
Bill
Newman.
Murray.
Bill Murray or Newman.
Okay.
So Bugs Bunny, obviously SGA.
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny's the point guard. In this game, he's the second leading scorer, but number one leading scorer among cartoon characters, got to be SGA. J-Dub, Lola Bunny. Lola Bunny was the second best player on that team.
She could really play.
She could play.
That's what you knew about her entering for the first time in practice, is that she could hoop.
Yeah, she could hoop. From there, my first thought was, okay, Taz has to be Alex Caruso because they just play similarly. Caruso's a crazy man. But then I saw Elmer Fudd with the headband, and I was like, man, he looks... That's Alex Caruso.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
So then...
You see this EuroLeague player that looked exactly like Alex Caruso?
No, what's his name?
Hold on. Keep going. I'll bring it up.
So then I decided to pivot to Taz being Dort, which I think that works too.
Oh, yeah, that works.
Taz looks pretty built.
We have a lot of Tasmanian Devils on our team.
We do. Daffy Duck, I went Chet. There's a scene in the locker room before the game where Daffy Duck is just kitted out and just like all this just random stuff. And it just reminded me of Chet for some reason. He just seems like the goofy guy on the team. And then Foghorn Leghorn.
Mm-hmm.
I think either Jay Will or Hartenstein.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because he's the lone big, really.
He is.
And then my last one is Sniffles. Do you know who Sniffles is?
Sniffles.
Sniffles is the little mouse.
Oh yeah.
It comes out. I said that was Kaysen because the mouse comes out and goes, "I'm so small, but I try so hard at basketball. I'm going to try so hard. I'm so small." So that was Kaysen for me.
Who's the grandma?
I don't know who the grandma is. You don't get to see a lot of her.
This is Arnes Velika. I don't know how I'm saying it. If I'm saying that right.
Oh wow, yeah. Wow, he really looks like him.
It's really only in that picture though, because I looked at more photos of him.
Yeah, but it was nice going back and watching it. Now, I did not watch Space Jam 2's basketball game. Maybe I would have learned more about those players. I feel like the grandma got more shine in Space Jam 2. In Space Jam 1, she just gets hit with a ball.
Yeah, Space Jam: A New Legacy. You don't hear much about it for good reason.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sat through it.
Yeah.
Pre-child, having a kid. Just watching it by myself on a Friday night. Yeah, I watched it.
Oh, man. Earl _Sinclair. What advancements are you expecting from the half-court offense? Or just the offense, I guess. Heck, if you want to, do the defense too.
Heck, go crazy. Go crazy.
I still do think that passing is something that they need to be better at.
That was literally the thing I wrote down too.
There's still a lot of isolation basketball that's occurring. And I think so much of what we saw in the playoffs is colored by the fact that they won the whole thing, which is good. It should be. That's the way it should be. However, there were times during the playoffs that I think that people thought they could really use another initiator of offense, which is where I do think that the thought of bringing in Topic makes sense. And just the fact that you have a guy that can really pass the rock. So I do think that adding a player like that will help, but it's really more about the internal development of the team itself than it is necessarily adding a player like Topic, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw it in the playoffs, those stats about how few passes per game OKC had in the finals.
Yeah.
Which passes per game doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, the KD Russ teams were always low in passes per game, and it didn't matter. They were still really good.
Yeah.
But the stats from this year's finals, because it's not like the Thunder were a huge passing per game team in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
What the drop off that happened was like significant. They would have been by far the lowest passing team in the regular season if they passed like that all season. Mm-hmm. So I think the injection of like AJ too, and Jay Will only played 47 games last year.
Yeah.
And maybe with this Sorber injury that opens up a few more minutes for him. I think just having more guys who are good passers on the court will help. Now, Topic is the main one because he's shown the ability, in his previous stops of being a lead initiator and having some of the passes that you just don't see on this team throw, especially like some of those cross-court passes. But yeah, I just think the overall passing on this team should go up naturally just by injecting these guys into the rotation.
Yeah.
But also if there's, anything Mark can do to help that along too, that would be great as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is like when this team gets stale, it just feels like usually one guy's at the top of the court. Maybe they're passing it around the perimeter, and it just doesn't feel like there's any type of passing that creates opportunities. That when it gets really stale like that.
Yeah, for sure. Few -lack 6346. Were there any teams that gave OKC a difficult time schematically that you would feel pause about facing in the playoffs next year? I mean, one of them is not going to be there, and it's the Indiana Pacers, who
they're scary.
did an amazing job last year schematically against OKC. I don't know if it's necessarily schematically, but like just playing against Nikola Jokic is a pretty scary thing, and we got to see 7 games of that. I do wonder, like, thinking back to Game 1, what a disaster Game 1 was, right?
The Denver series?
Yes.
Yeah.
What if I just wonder if they won that game, what the rest of the series would have looked like.
Yeah, especially because one of Denver's other wins was an overtime win.
Yeah.
Like the game where it felt like, okay, they definitely beat us was Game 6.
Yes.
But yeah, those other 2 games, last second shot and the overtime game, like they were right there for OKC.
Yeah. I just
who knows?
Because that also just injects a lot of life into the team, winning a game like that.
Yeah.
Because after the season 2, like Russ isn't coming back, and like all the Russ stuff was kind of bubbling up. You just wonder about that too. Like, what life did that give the Nuggets is certainly a question that I think should be asked.
Yeah, I was looking at OKC's pace. So in the regular season, they were 100.9. In the playoffs, they were 100. So it didn't change that much.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go by series, against Memphis, they were 102.6. Makes sense.
Nice.
By the way, in the regular season, fastest team in the league. So that 100.9 was the number 1 mark. Against Memphis, they were 102.
Yeah.
Against Denver, they were 100.4, which is basically their average. Against Minnesota, it dropped to 99.3. But then Indiana, it dropped to 98.7, which if that was their pace in the regular season, that would have, even though it doesn't seem like a big drop off, that would drop them from the fastest team in the league to the 20th fastest team in the league in terms of pace.
Wow.
And I just think a lot of those, I mean, it kind of went back and forth. Like in the early half of that series, they were picking up full court. Mm-hmm. And so OKC wasn't even getting into their offense until there was like 13 or 14 seconds left on the clock. And then later in the series, I was rewatching Ben Taylor's video about Game 6,
mm-hmm.
which is when Indiana decided to drop off.
Yep.
And I think a lot of thinking there was it is so hard to play the way that Indiana was playing defensively and like still have anything left offensively, especially in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. I just thought they did an incredible job of mixing things up. Because it did feel at a certain point, they're picking us up full court, but I feel like this team is like starting to figure it out. Like at the end of Game 4, I guess it was, that was the one they won in Indy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they won Game 5, which that was the game I was at. And that one was like pretty convincing. Like it was a good game, but they were in control most of the time. And then Game 6 comes and it just feels like a completely different game. Like what just happened?
Yeah. There was no like carryover. Because everyone was like, "Oh, well, the Thunder clearly have momentum now," and I was like, "There's not been momentum. That's just not even been a thing that's happening in this series."
And so, I'm thinking of teams who could potentially do that because I think you need to have a really good point of attack defender, as a starting point. So, like the Clippers and Houston were the 2 that popped up because you have Chris Dunn and Amen Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least that's a start to something. Those are the 2 teams that I feel like could get OKC in the mud in a more traditional way. Although it's funny because we're talking about Denver and Indiana, 2 teams that if you had asked us in December, are you worried about their defense in the playoffs? We would have said, no, of course not. Like you would have called Indiana a finesse team. And then they come into the finals and just are basically OKC. They're playing like OKC defensively.
Yeah, they were.
So there could be other teams out there that aren't really showing it until they're eventually in the playoffs. But I think the Clippers and in Houston are the 2 that most obviously could get OKC in the mud at points in a series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for Houston, it's like, can their offense be good enough?
Yeah,
for it to really matter.
Yeah.
And maybe with Kevin, they can be. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's very possible. Okay, let's see. To Fringe Funk. Does Casey Wallace stay long term? I mean, a lot of it to me is just dependent on how well he plays this year. because like he could potentially like play himself out of Oklahoma City if he's like somehow becomes like a great offensive player. I kind of think he will be, just because I think that like to go from the usage that he had to something that's like crazy significant, I think would be unlikely.
Yeah.
I could see him just like increasing his efficiency, like maybe increasing his shots per game by a couple. Like I don't expect there to be like this massive leap, mostly because there's not room for that to happen, on this roster. There's just not a ton of possessions to go around like that. And so I kind of think he'll stick around long term, but a lot of it just depends on like, do they really want to stay? Like, how long do they want to stay out of the second apron, and what does that look like? There's just a lot of unanswered questions with all of this, but I tend to think that they'll find a way to keep Casey Wallace.
And is something like, is there an injury that forces him into a bigger role, and all of a sudden he gets that opportunity,
Sure.
and he really shows out or something like?
Yeah,
that would change. But as it is right now, if he came back and was a similar, slightly improved version of what we saw last year, I feel like they would do what they need to do to keep him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt. Let's see. Spooge _socks. Are our Clippers picks at risk? I was watching the NFL and a guy get spit on and ejected. What is the closest thing the NBA has seen to this that you can remember? I don't really know what the Clippers picks being at risk means. Like the Thunder own them. They wouldn't.
You can't take them away.
Yeah, that's not happening. Just watching Draymond Green throughout the Warriors run was bad.
The one that immediately came to my mind that fits really well is when Rondo spit on CP3.
Oh yeah,
which I think was like an opening night game. And that was Lakers. Was that Lakers Clippers or Lakers Houston? I forget where CP3 was, but it was one of those things where CP3 said that he spit at him, but you didn't find out until later when they showed the replay in like super slow motion, where you could see Rondo pursing his lips, and you could finally see the spit, and it was like, oh my gosh, he really did spit, which is kind of what happened with like the Dak Prescott, where like later in the game you see like, oh, Dak did spit first, even though he didn't hit Jalen Carter. But
yeah, you got to get so mad to spit on somebody, man.
You do that.
So mad.
Yeah, I was watching it with my 3-year-old. I was like, "That you can't do that. You cannot spit on people." Because he's been like spitting a lot lately, and so it was a really good teaching moment. Because I was like, "Look, Jalen Carter, he's getting ejected. Can't even play the game anymore. Look what happens when you spit."
Oh man, that's funny. OSU Bogglehead. How much would Steve Ballmer have to pay you to in a no-show job for you to become a Clippers fan and stop rooting for the Thunder?
Less than you think.
What?
I mean, the chance to get enough money to just like not have to worry about things, that'd be pretty good.
I mean, that would be pretty great.
Yeah.
That would be pretty great.
I would say like, maybe like 5 million is definitely enough. That would get it done.
It's a lot of money.
Now I'm starting to think like, how much below 5 million would I go?
You could still come on the pod, but just as a Clippers fan.
Just as a Clippers fan. Die hard.
That's right.
Clipper Al.
Oh man. Let's see. Caper-Hamilton. What is the wildest adventure a Thunder player took the Larry O'Brien on this summer? The wildest adventure. I mean, like the Larry O'B went to Germany.
Yeah.
With Hartenstein. They went up to Canada. They have to lug this thing around in like a giant case. And there's got to be like security, and it's like it's a wild process. I had a friend asking me the other day, like, is that really like the one Larry O'Brien trophy that's like traveling around the world? Like, yeah, it is. And it's got this giant carrying case that they just lug it around, and the thing is heavy as all get out. But yeah, probably Germany, I would guess, is probably the wildest one.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many others.
But it's crazy. It is crazy how they have to lug that thing around. Let's see. Gonzo Monzo 43. When you gaze into your crystal ball that reveals the state of the league in 2029, what tier of players do you see Chet and J-Dub as? Top 5, top 10?
I mean, I think it's easy right now to say, like, yeah, maybe J-Dub could be like a top 10 player.
Yeah.
Like a 9 or 10 player. Now, once you actually list out the players in the NBA, that feels it's harder to say that.
Yeah.
But I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think so.
And then with Chet, I think where he is right now, I mean, I think about a player like Rudy Gobert, who's just like makes a couple All-Star games, perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Like, I feel like that's his baseline.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's already kind of at that point, even though he hasn't made an All-Star game, but I think he can be like that type of player going forward. I think his ceiling is a lot higher. I think he could be a top 20 player in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And if he ever has like an offensive leap, I mean, it could get really crazy.
Yeah. I could think about 2029. So we're like 4 years away from that. Like, if you consider LeBron a top 10 player, like, he won't be.
Yeah.
You know, same with Kevin Durant. Same with Steph Curry.
It'll be Young Hansen. He'll be up there.
Same with probably Giannis too. Like, he's probably not a top 10 player anymore. So like, there's going to be room for other guys to jump up in there. And like J-Dub, I think, is a prime candidate too. Like, I just think his game has scaled so fast and so well that, like, why not? Like, why do the Thunder not have 2, potentially 3 top 10 players in the league? I think it feels crazy to say, but the fact that they all play different positions also gives that opportunity.
And they'll be 27 and 28.
Yeah, just right in their prime.
That is wild.
Yeah, it is.
That's 4 years away. They will still be younger than Devin Booker is this year.
It's so hard to imagine what that's going to be like.
Who are some other 28-year-olds in the league? I'm trying to think. It would have been guys who came in 2016. Dragan Bender.
Like Jaylen Brown is 28, I think.
Yeah.
Like BI is 28. Bam Adebayo is 28. Jamal Murray, OG, Markkanen's 28.
4 years from now, they'll like just be hitting that.
Yeah.
4 more seasons. That's crazy.
Thon Maker.
Yorgos Papagiannis. He just turned 28, July 3rd. Happy birthday.
Nice. Radiant _cat 1457 timeline on J-Dub's surgery. I mean, he had surgery a while ago, and I mean,
posted that new pic.
Yeah, it's like a device that's supposed to help with mobility, I guess.
Yeah.
But he, I mean, Presti said that he would be back just for the start of the regular season. So usually Presti won't talk like that if he doesn't feel a certain way. And I don't think there's been any setbacks that have happened with him. So I think that should still be the expectation. So yeah, I don't think that, I don't know necessarily that he'll be playing on opening night, like that's a guarantee, but it will be, I would guess, shortly after that.
Yeah.
If that doesn't happen. Thunder Mifflin, TFU. Hey, Andrew, love the pod. We've all heard the online discourse about the Thunder getting away with more physicality on defense than other teams. I wonder if you think there's any validity to this argument, and if so, do you think anything changes with the refs this upcoming season? Have we set a standard and the refs will allow this to continue, or does it need to swing the other way? I think this is way more about the types of players the Thunder have than anything else. I don't think this is like a mandated style of play. I just think that when you think about Dort, Casey Wallace, Alex Caruso, J-Dub, Chet, Hartenstein, those are some of the more physical defenders in the NBA. Like, I don't think you could do this if like your whole roster was guys that are like I don't think like Sacramento could execute it. Like they just couldn't. They don't have the guys to do it. And so I think this is way more about not necessarily about style of play, which it's certainly there, but you can't execute it to this degree without the right kinds of players. So I don't think this is something where the Thunder are exploiting something that the league needs to look into. It's just that they have the biggest group of annoying, outrageous defenders in the league, period. And like that's why they can do this.
Yeah, it kind of goes along. There was a question by Obscure Monstrosity asking, what are the top 3 things 2026 contenders are doing to prepare for and attack the Thunder next year?
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote down 2 things. One of them was like upping their physicality, which, as you mentioned, does require depth. Like not everyone can do it. Indiana can't do that for an entire season.
Yeah.
Like they were able to do that for one playoff series, and they were very good at it. But I don't know if they'd be able to do that if they're asking those guys every night to play with that level of physicality.
Yeah.
And I look around and like, who are the teams that could potentially have the depth to do that? Like Houston, again, I come back to, and the Clippers, although I do wonder about the Clippers because obviously like Beal isn't really like a physicality depth piece.
Yeah.
Like I still think there's going to be weak points that you can attack on that Clippers team. But yeah, it's tough because anyone can do it. You can play the way OKC plays, but you just have to have the guys, and it is exhausting to do it. I'm sure that is part of the reason why they were so bad from 3 in the playoffs.
Yeah,
because they were playing 10 out of 10 on defense pretty much every single night outside of like Minnesota game 3 or whatever. So yeah, and then the other thing I thought of was, and actually going along with that, teams need to spend more time in the regular season doing what Mark does, which is playing your whole lineup, playing your whole roster, seeing what you've got, so that you don't get in these situations in the playoffs where you kind of want to play a guy on your bench because you just want to see could he work, but you don't have any data to go on.
Yeah,
he hasn't played in the regular season at all, so then you're throwing a guy in cold. I think these teams, if there's one lesson to take from OKC, it's like play everyone 1 through 17, or I guess 1 through 18, and just see what you got. So at least when you get to the playoffs, you feel a little bit more confident. And that kind of goes along with my second point, which is that I thought one of the more interesting stories, subplots of the whole playoffs was after the Denver series. OKC comes off this really tough 7-game series where Denver's playing zone really well, amazingly. They're getting OKC in the mud pretty much every game. And we go into the Minnesota series, and one of the questions is, how much zone is Minnesota going to play?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Minnesota didn't play any zone in the regular season, but they feel like they have to try it because it works so well for Denver. It's not like Denver's some amazing defense.
Right.
And they try it, and it just doesn't work.
Did not work.
And you could say, well, maybe that's personnel, but I think it's like, why don't you spend some time this season trying to find a 5-man unit that can play zone effectively, just so you have that in your back pocket. Instead, they got into this position where they clearly wanted to try it, but they hadn't practiced it at all in real game situations, and it just didn't work. It like immediately flopped. So if I were other teams, I would spend more time experimenting with zone during the regular season just to see, can I find, even if it's not like my whole roster, it's not something we go to every game.
Yeah.
Can I just find a 5-man unit who can do this effectively?
Yeah, that's a great point. We're going to take a break. We'll come back. We'll answer a few more questions. And we're back after that quick break. I want to tell you about my friends at Bob Moore Kia. Alex, take a look at this beautiful, beautiful Kia Carnival. That's what I'm driving around right now. I mean, not right now, but this is what we're driving. And it is a beautiful, beautiful van. You should go test drive one today. all the features that you'd want. Safety features are there. It's comfortable. It's a wonderful, wonderful minivan, and it's a hybrid as well, which is very cool. Getting crazy gas mileage out there. Go check out Bob Moore Kia today. You can go visit them on Northwest Expressway in between Rockwell and Council. Just pop in, tell them the Down to Dunk sent you. Go test drive a Kia K5 today, which is a really cool car. You can get it for $289 a month for 36 months on 10,000 miles a year. $3,499 due at signing. You can also test drive a K4, which you can get the LX for $239 a month, the EX for $249 a month for 36 months. $3,499 due at signing. Go check out our friends at Bob Moore Kia today. They'll treat you right. Great people there. Great snacks there. If you're into just test driving a car, grabbing a snack, go check out Bob Moore Kia today. All right, Al, let's answer a couple more questions before we get out of here. Like a Bird, 479619. Andrew, I know you were a teacher at one point. We'd love to hear how you made the shift into sports media. I'm currently in school to be a history teacher / basketball coach and feel like I can resonate a lot with your direction. Yeah, I was a teacher for a decade and started this passion project that was podcasting, and I feel very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in today. I don't know that I'm necessarily like a blueprint for anything, because I feel like we were one of the first. I think we were the second Thunder podcast ever, which certainly helps. I think we got beachfront property in the Thunder podcasting world, so that helped. And then getting in with the Athletic at the time where they were wanting a podcast for every team, and that we still license our show to the Athletic, but like they wanted us to be a part, and then they needed more producers, and they were very familiar with me, and so I just feel very fortunate every step of the way to be in the position that I'm in. So if it's something you're passionate about, whether it's like writing or podcasting, whatever it is, I just encourage you to just start right away and just try it. You're going to suck at it. I was terrible at it when we first started. But I think through time and reps and all of that, you'll get better. So if that's something that you want to do or you're passionate about, I'd say just do it. Just go for it.
And especially if you're younger, there's plenty of millennial Thunder podcasts right now. The millennials kind of have the the block right now.
Yeah, we got this on lockdown. Okay.
There's eventually going to be a Gen Z Thunder podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
And it may already exist, and I just don't know about it. But yeah, if you're young, eventually, not that we're going to age out, but there's going to be younger Thunder fans who just want to listen to people that are their own age.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. So definitely. There is going to be something there. And I would say spend
a lot of younger Thunder, that
is true.
Listen to us too, which
maybe
is
one of them will do it.
Yeah, it's always to meet.
But yeah, the thing I always believe about podcasting is you need to spend as much time thinking about how to make the podcast entertaining to listen to as you do about thinking about what you want to say in terms of takes.
Yeah, for sure.
This is why, for all of his faults, Bill Simmons is such a good podcaster, because he understands how to make an entertaining podcast.
No doubt. I still listen. I don't listen to every episode he does, but I listen to a lot of his NBA stuff.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it. Yeah. Let's see. Any of these other questions that really stuck out to you, Al?
Someone asked, my name's not Rick. What franchise is poised to be the next Thunder, a young, up-and-coming roster with assets and talent to eventually win it all? So I think the obvious answers would be Houston or the Spurs, because both have assets, both have young players that are very good. Şengün is amazing right now in EuroLeague. What if I was looking at the Ringers ranking, top 100 rankings. They had him at 36 at the end of the season. What if by the end of next season he's considered a top 20 player? That would obviously be a huge jump.
That would change. Yeah.
But those are the obvious answers. So I want to go with another one, which is the Portland Trailblazers. Now, listen. They don't have
really sell me on this. I did a podcast that dropped Monday.
Yeah,
with Sean Highkin, asking him who the best player on the Blazers is. Did you hear this?
I have not yet. It's Denny. It has to be Denny.
No, he said Drew.
No, it's not true.
That's what I was like, to be clear, I'm asking about this season only.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, I think it's probably Drew.
No, here's why they're a good answer, because it seems dumb right now. You're saying this team doesn't have a top, let's say top 40, certainly not a top 30 player, depending on how you feel about Denny Avdia. Like, how are they going to get there?
Yeah.
But shout out to my favorite Portland Trailblazers podcast, Down to Dunk. But here's the deal. They are perfectly set up for a star. They're one of the teams out there where if you dropped a star into that team, they would instantly be significantly, it would make so much more sense because they do have some really good players on their team. And the thing people forget about the Blazers, and this is where I get to the asset part of it, is they control the Milwaukee Bucks pick 3 consecutive seasons, starting in 2028 or 2027, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
They're going to have, and remember with the Bucks, like they are screwed at a certain point going out. And so I think that those are incredibly juicy picks. And so I'm talking about like 4 years down the road that this becomes a reality. Obviously, Houston and Spurs, you could say like, well, by next season they could make a huge jump, and all of a sudden they're contenders.
Or Orlando is another one.
Yeah, Orlando's another one. Yeah. So I'm thinking like further down the road, who has some really juicy assets? Because you look at Houston's picks, they've got that like one Suns pick, but all the rest of them are these like Minnesota and Cleveland picks, which I just don't think they're incredible. The only other one I thought of was Atlanta because of that pick they have from the Pelicans. Like I think Atlanta's going to be like good this year, but like not a championship contender. But what if they land like one of those top 3 guys?
They got one of the top 3 picks. It would change their trajectory in a significant way.
Yeah. And that's not out of the realm of possibility. So they were the other like kind of far off team I was thinking of.
Yeah. Only other question that I thought would be fun to answer. Sauce 4243. Hey, Alex and Andrew, I want to know your favorite, most random moment that you've had covering the NBA or the Thunder. Like if you told yourself that you'd be in this situation / have something happen, there's no way you would have believed it 10 years ago. P.S. Love, Slam, and Jam. Andrew, you're a true sicko for all your random trivia that you know about every NBA team. I am a sicko. There's no doubt. What about you, Al?
I mean, you're going to have a crazier one, I'm sure. But for me, it was sitting in my basement doing a podcast with David Aldridge and just watching him eat pistachios the whole time while we did the episode. And just sitting there like, man, I'm just hanging out with David Aldridge, the guy from 2K. He used to be a sideline reporter on 2K.
He's still on 2K.
Oh, he's still on 2K? I haven't played 2K in a long time.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, just getting to do a podcast with David Aldridge was just very strange to me.
Yeah.
Because he's just one of those, and then like he just happened to come sit next to me at Summer League.
Yeah.
I think for the Pacers, the rematch, the Pacers Thunder game.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys that like seems bigger than life before you meet him, probably because he's been on 2K, but you've seen him as the sideline reporter back in the day on TNT. And so just getting to do a podcast with him was very strange. It's like, oh, this guy's real and he's normal. He likes pistachios.
Pistachios. One thing, and I feel like I have like so many of these stories because I've been outrageously blessed to be in the position that I'm in, but I was at it was the first year of the in-season tournament in Vegas, and Sam Amick has become a really good friend of mine. And so Sam and I were standing on the court in Vegas, and Sam knows everybody, like anybody that walks by that's relatively NBA famous, and like Sam knows them. And like Ernie Johnson walks by and he's like stops to talk to Sam, and then Sam introduces me to Ernie, and like we have like this conversation, and I'm standing on the court, and like I think it was the Lakers that were warming up or something, and so it's like LeBron and AD and these guys practicing behind us while I'm talking to Ernie Johnson on a court in Las Vegas. I'm like, what is happening? What is this? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Okay, one more question, Al, before we get out of here. Where is that one? Oh, what? Okay, yeah. What books are you reading? I can't find where somebody asked it, but somebody did ask us. What
It's obligatory comic.
Oh, okay. I see that now. Okay, yeah. Obligatory comic asks, what books are you reading? What book are you reading, Al?
I'm currently reading The Inverted World by Christopher Priest.
Okay.
Which is a sci-fi book. He's the guy who wrote The Prestige, if you've ever seen that movie about the magicians.
Yeah.
It's just some sci-fi book. There's a guy on YouTube called Book Pilled. And he only reviews like hard sci-fi books, which I've never gotten into sci-fi before, like last year. So he releases ones every once in a while. They're like my favorite 15 books of all time. So I've just started going through his list, and this was on his list. So I'm reading that, and I'm also reading The British Are Coming, which is a history of the Revolutionary War, which I was never interested in.
Yeah,
I always found it boring in school. Because I was more, World War II, Vietnam War, those are so much more interesting.
Yeah.
But it's really good. And it's written kind of in a narrative way. It's still like a very dense history book, but it's very cool. It's because every chapter, he's talking about some battle, and he'll just bring up these guys whose names for one reason or another, that are now just part of Americana, and you never realize, like, oh, that guy is from... like he was in the Revolutionary War and he fought in this battle.
Yeah.
So that's a cool book too.
Shout out to public school for making history very boring.
Some of it.
Somehow. I'm reading, there's a book called East of Eden by John Steinbeck. It's like an old classic book that a friend recommended. Like, he's like, you just have to read this book. And so I am currently reading that. So yeah. All right. Al, that's a podcast on September 10th. We are not very far away from like real NBA stuff happening. So, training camp, we're weeks away. Presty will talk to the media before then, which he always does. So, looking forward to that as well. Hope everybody's having an awesome Wednesday, and we'll talk to you guys again on Friday.
Until the dawn, until the dawn.